All right, get ready to explore Rome, because on today's deep dive, we're tackling those pesky tourist traps.
Those are the worst.
Yeah, so we found this great article online. It's called Rome First Timer, Mistakes to Avoid.
Catchy.
I know, right? And, even if you've already been to Rome, like a seasoned traveler,
Hmm.
there's always something new to learn, I think. Don't you think?
Oh, absolutely. Rome's one of those cities with endless layers. You could go back a dozen times and still find hidden gems.
So true. So what we're going to do is use this article to kind of equip ourselves
Yeah.
with all the knowledge we need to make our Roman experience
Right.
amazing, less stressful, more authentic. That's the goal, right?
Absolutely. And you know what I really appreciate about this article is that it goes beyond just listing the typical don'ts.
Yeah.
It delves into the psychology behind those tourist traps, like
Yeah.
why they work, which I think is super helpful for actually avoiding them.
Ooh, that's a good point. So it's not just about what to do, but like understanding the why behind it.
Exactly. Because when you understand the why, you're less likely to fall for it.
Okay, I'm ready. Hit me with the first trap we need to watch out for.
All right, picture this. You've just landed in Rome, you're excited, maybe a little jet lagged, and bam, you're hit with the classic gift scam.
Ah, yes. The friendly local offering a bracelet or rose and then demanding payment.
You got it. It's so common, especially around those major tourist hotspots like the Trevi Fountain or the Colosseum.
I've totally fallen for that before, not in Rome, but you just feel so caught off guard.
Yeah.
You're in a new place.
Yeah.
You don't want to be rude.
Right, and they play on that. They know you're not sure what the social norms are, so they take advantage of that split second of hesitation.
So what's the best way to handle that, do you think? Just be firm.
I think polite but firm is key. A simple no, grazie, and keep moving. Don't engage, don't make eye contact, just keep walking.
Got it. Polite but firm. All right, moving on. Let's talk about the Colosseum. This article really stresses the importance of pre-booking tickets.
For good reason. I mean, we're talking about one of the most iconic landmarks in the world. Over 7 million people visit every year.
7 million.
Wow. That's like, the entire population of Hong Kong trying to squeeze into one ancient amphitheater.
No wonder there are lines. Huge lines.
And the article mentions there was someone who wrote in and said they waited 30 minutes in line in May.
May. That's shoulder season, not even peak season.
Exactly. So if you're going during peak season, like April through September, you could be looking at hours of waiting in the hot Roman sun.
Hours. No, thank you. So how do we avoid that fate?
Pre-book, pre-book, pre-book. It's so easy to do these days. You can get tickets online through the Colosseum's official website or any number of reputable third-party sites like Get Your Guide, which the article
I
mentions.
love Get Your Guide. Super easy to use.
Totally. And, beyond just saving time, pre-booking also helps you budget better because you know exactly how much you're spending in advance.
True, true. Okay, so we've tackled the gift scam and the Colosseum queue. What's next on our tourist trap hit list?
Well, let's talk about food. Because, who doesn't dream of enjoying a delicious plate of pasta or sipping an Aperol Spritz with a view of the Trevi Fountain?
Oh, that's the dream. But this article is warning us about something, right? Like, it's not all as idyllic as it seems.
It's not. I mean, that iconic view often comes with a pretty hefty price tag.
Okay, so explain this to me. Is it because the food is just that much better? Or is there something else going on?
Well, it's a combination of factors. First, the rent in those prime tourist areas is sky high, so restaurants have to charge more just to cover their overhead.
Right.
Plus, many of those places cater specifically to tourists, which means they often skimp on quality or use pre-made ingredients.
So you're paying for the view, not necessarily the quality of the food.
Sadly, that's often the case. But don't worry, the article has some great recommendations for experiencing authentic Roman cuisine without breaking the bank.
Okay, I'm all ears. Tell me where to go.
So instead of falling into those tourist traps around the Trevi Fountain, the article suggests heading to neighborhoods like Trastevere and Pigna.
Trastevere. I've heard that name. It's supposed to be super charming, right?
It is. It's got this bohemian vibe, lots of cobblestone streets, family-run trattorias. So you find much more authentic Roman food there at a fraction of the price.
And Pigna. What's special about that neighborhood?
It's a bit more off the beaten path, but it's got this amazing historic charm. It's actually one of the oldest neighborhoods in Rome. And it's packed with hidden gems, little cafes, artisanal shops, and some fantastic restaurants that locals love.
So we can avoid the tourist trap pricing A&D, get to experience Rome like a local. Double win.
Exactly. And that's what it's all about, right?
Yeah.
Discovering those authentic experiences that make a trip truly memorable.
Absolutely. Okay, next up on our Rome to-do list.
Yeah.
Waking up early, I know. I know. It sounds painful, but this article is really emphasizing the benefits of being an early bird in Rome.
And they're not wrong. I mean, think about it. Rome is a city that's been around for centuries.
Millennia, right?
Millennia. So it's seen its fair share of crowds. But if you want to experience those iconic landmarks like the Trevi Fountain or the Pantheon without the throngs of tourists, early morning is the time to go.
Okay, I can see that. But like, how early are we talking?
The article specifically recommends aiming to be at those sites before 8:30 a.m.
8:30. Okay, I can do that. I mean, it's worth it for the photos alone, right? To get that perfect shot without 100 people in the background.
Oh, absolutely. And it's not just about the photos. There's something truly magical about experiencing those places in the quiet of the morning.
Yeah.
You can almost feel the history, like you're walking in the footsteps of ancient Romans.
I love that. Okay, I'm convinced. Early morning it is. Now, on a more practical note, the article is really stressing the importance of sunscreen, which, I mean, it seems obvious, but, sometimes we forget.
Yeah, and especially in a city like Rome where you're doing so much walking and exploring outdoors, it's easy to underestimate the strength of the sun.
So true. It's not like you're just lying on a beach. You're constantly on the move.
Yeah, exactly. And the article points out that Rome's summer sun can be brutal. They mention average July and August temperatures reaching 90 degrees Fahrenheit.
Wow, that's hot. Okay, so sunscreen is a must. Any other packing tips from the article?
Well, this one might surprise you. They recommend packing modest clothing, specifically if you're planning on visiting any churches or religious sites.
Ah, that makes sense. I always forget about those dress codes.
Yeah, it's easy to overlook. But Rome is a city with a deep Catholic heritage, and many of its most stunning sites are churches and basilicas, all of which have a dress code that visitors need to respect.
So covered shoulders and knees are a must.
Absolutely. And the article even shares a funny anecdote about someone being denied entry to the tomb of the unknown soldier for wearing shorts.
Oh no, that's so embarrassing.
It's a good reminder to be prepared and respectful, especially when visiting sacred spaces. And some places, like the Sistine Chapel, are particularly strict. They won't hesitate to turn you away if you're not dressed appropriately.
Yeah, you don't want to miss out on those incredible masterpieces because of a wardrobe malfunction. So pack accordingly, folks. Light layers, a scarf for covering shoulders, maybe even a pair of lightweight pants if you're planning on visiting a lot of churches.
Good advice. Now, shifting gears to a slightly less glamorous aspect of travel, let's talk about pickpocketing.
Ugh, yeah. It's the one thing that always makes me a little nervous when traveling to big cities.
It's a valid concern, and the article doesn't shy away from addressing it. But here's the thing. It's not about being paranoid. It's about being prepared and aware of your surroundings.
So where are the pickpocketing hotspots in Rome?
Well, the article highlights crowded areas like the Pantheon, the Colosseum, and train stations as prime spots.
That makes sense. They prey on distraction, right? Like when you're bumping into people or just trying to navigate the chaos.
Exactly. Pickpockets are masters of distraction. They might bump into you, create a commotion, or even pretend to help you while an accomplice swipes your belongings.
It's like a well-rehearsed dance.
Yeah, right. But if you're aware of their tactics, you're less likely to fall victim. So the article offers some simple but effective tips. Keep your valuables close, carry bags in front of you, and maybe even consider using a money belt.
And leave the expensive jewelry at home.
Definitely. No need to be flashing your bling when you're trying to blend in and experience the city like a local.
Right. So we've talked about avoiding scams, navigating crowds, and respecting local customs. But now let's talk about one of my favorite things about traveling, and that's discovering those hidden gems, those places that most tourists never see.
Me too. That's where the real magic happens, right? It's about venturing off the well-trodden path and uncovering those secret corners of the city that offer a different perspective.
And thankfully, this article doesn't disappoint when it comes to recommendations. They mention some truly intriguing places like the Catacomb di San Callisto, the Knights of Malta Keyhole, Via Margutta, and the Appian Way.
Those sound incredible. I haven't even heard of some of those.
I know.
Yeah.
And just those names themselves spark a sense of adventure, makes you want to ditch the guidebook and just wander.
Absolutely. It's all about embracing those unexpected discoveries and allowing yourself to get lost in the beauty of the city.
And I think that's a great segue into the next part of our deep dive. We've talked about avoiding those classic tourist traps, but now it's time to unlock some secrets that will make you feel like a true Roman insider. Stay tuned for part 2. All right, welcome back to our Roman deep dive.
I was just thinking, one of the best ways to truly feel like a Roman insider
Yeah?
is to tap into something that's been a part of Roman life for centuries.
Okay, what's that?
Those free water fountains all over the city.
Oh, yeah, the fountains. We mentioned them briefly before.
Right.
But I feel like there's more to it, right?
There is. It's not just about free hydration.
Okay.
It's about connecting with history in a tangible way. Like,
Right.
picture this. You're in a bustling piazza, the sun is warm on your face, and you stop for a refreshing drink from a fountain that's been quenching thirst for centuries.
I love that image.
Right.
It's like you're taking a sip of history.
Exactly. The water flowing from those fountains often comes directly from ancient Roman aqueducts,
No way.
some dating back over 2,000 years.
That's crazy.
Think about it. The water you're drinking is the same water that emperors, gladiators, everyday Romans drank.
Wow, that's mind-blowing.
Right.
It makes those little plastic water bottles seem so boring.
Totally. Now, speaking of things that are anything but boring, let's circle back to the Colosseum.
Okay.
This article really emphasizes the importance of pre-booking tickets. And it's not just about skipping the lines.
Oh, I totally get that. Standing in a massive queue takes away from the whole experience.
Doesn't it?
It's like you're so focused on getting in
You're right.
that you forget to actually appreciate what you're about to see.
Yeah. Pre-booking allows you to approach the Colosseum with anticipation, not frustration. You can visualize those gladiatorial combats,
Yeah.
hear the roar of the crowd, and truly immerse yourself in the history of the place.
So it's not just about logistics.
Yeah.
It's about setting the right mindset.
Exactly. Now, let's shift gears from ancient wonders to modern-day transportation and talk about validating those bus and tram tickets.
Oh, yeah, the validation thing. It's definitely something that trips up a lot of first-time visitors.
Yeah.
And the fines can be hefty.
50 euros to be exact,
Ooh,
which is about 52 US dollars.
not how you want to start your Roman holiday.
Not at all. And it's not about being sneaky. It's just a different system than many visitors are used to. Train tickets are validated at turnstiles.
Right.
But bus and tram validation happens on board using those little machines.
So if you buy your ticket from a kiosk or on your phone,
Mm-hmm.
make sure to validate it as soon as you hop on.
It's a simple step that can save you a lot of hassle.
Good to know. Now, speaking of hassle-free travel, let's debunk a common myth about taxis in Rome.
Okay.
Unlike other major cities, hailing a cab from the street isn't really a thing.
Oh, it's true. So many visitors try to do that, and they just get confused looks from drivers.
Yeah, I remember doing that on my first trip. And I was like, what's going on?
Rome operates on a taxi stand system.
Okay.
You'll find these stands near most major attractions and transportation hubs.
So it's best to kind of plan ahead.
Mm-hmm.
Know where to find a taxi stand near your destination, especially if you're in a hurry or have a lot of luggage.
Of course, ride-hailing apps like Uber are also readily available and can offer more predictable fares.
Right, especially if you're not familiar with the city.
Exactly. Okay, so we've covered transportation.
Yeah.
Now let's talk about food.
Always a good topic. So Roman cuisine, it's more than just pizza and pasta,
Mm-hmm.
although those are undeniably delicious.
Oh, absolutely. But this article really encourages us to go beyond the familiar
Yes.
and explore some of the more unique culinary offerings that Rome has to offer.
Like what?
Well, for instance, instead of the classic round pizza, try Roman-style square pizza.
Square pizza. Interesting.
It's thinner crust, often sold by weight, and it has a completely different texture and flavor profile.
Okay, I'm intrigued. Now, what about pasta? Any must-try pasta dishes?
Oh, absolutely. You have to try a pasta cacio e pepe.
Cacio e pepe. That's the one with just black pepper and cheese, right?
Yes. Simple ingredients, but the way those flavors come together is pure magic.
It's a testament to that Italian philosophy of using fresh, high-quality ingredients and letting them shine.
Exactly. Roman cuisine isn't about fussy presentation or complicated techniques.
Right.
It's about celebrating the essence of the ingredients. Now, to further tempt our taste buds,
Okay.
the article lists some other must-try Roman specialties. Supply.
The supply, what is that?
They're these delicious fried rice balls.
Oh, okay. That sounds amazing.
Then there's coda alla vaccinara,
Okay.
which is a flavorful oxtail stew, and fiori di zucca, delicate fried zucchini flowers, and a bacchio alla romana, roasted lamb seasoned with rosemary and garlic.
Oh, my mouth is watering just hearing those names.
Right. It's hearty, it's flavorful, and it's a true reflection of the city's rich history and culture.
So ditch the tourist traps,
Yeah.
explore those local neighborhoods, and discover the true taste of Rome.
Exactly. Now, you can't talk about Rome without talking about its iconic landmarks.
Right.
But you know what? This article challenges us to think beyond the Colosseum and the Trevi Fountain
Okay.
and seek out some of those hidden gems that offer a different perspective on the city.
I love that idea. It's like uncovering those secret chapters in the story of Rome.
Exactly. The article mentions a few intriguing places, like the Catacombe di San Callisto,
The catacombs.
an underground network of early Christian burial chambers.
Wow. That sounds both eerie and fascinating.
Then there's the Knights of Malta Keyhole,
Okay.
which offers this peekaboo view of St. Peter's Basilica framed by a lush garden.
It's like those little moments of unexpected beauty that make exploring a new city so rewarding.
The article also suggests checking out Via Margutta,
Via Margutta.
a charming street known for its art galleries and artisan workshops, and the Appian Way, an ancient Roman road lined with tombs and ruins.
It's like stepping back in time.
It is. These are places that most tourists probably miss.
Yeah.
But they offer a glimpse into a different side of Rome, a side that's steeped in history and artistry. It's about seeking out those quieter moments, those places where you can escape the crowds and really connect with the soul of the city.
Now, even the most seasoned travelers have concerns about pickpocketing,
Right.
especially in a city as bustling as Rome.
It's a valid concern, but it's important to remember that Rome is generally a safe city.
Okay.
The key is to be aware of your surroundings and take some simple precautions.
So the article highlights common pickpocketing hotspots, like crowded areas around the Pantheon, the Colosseum, and transportation hubs.
It's all about opportunity.
Right.
Pickpockets often rely on distraction techniques, bumping into you,
Yeah.
creating a commotion, or even pretending to help you while an accomplice swipes your belongings.
It's like a street performance, but one you definitely don't want to be a part of.
You got it. So the article offers some practical tips. Keep your valuables close, carry bags in front of you, and maybe even consider using a money belt.
And honestly, just being aware of your surroundings goes a long way. Don't be glued to your phone or lost in a map, and be mindful of who's around you,
Yeah.
especially in those crowded areas.
Okay, now on to something that might seem obvious,
Okay.
but is often overlooked.
Like it.
Packing sunscreen.
Sunscreen. You'd be surprised how many people underestimate the power of the Roman sun.
I know, right? Especially during those summer months.
Yeah.
Remember those average July and August temperatures hitting 90 degrees Fahrenheit,
Yeah.
and the sun reflects off those ancient stones and cobblestones?
It's like a natural tanning bed.
It is, but not the kind you want to sign up for.
So pack that sunscreen from home, save yourself some money, and prevent you from spending your Roman holiday nursing a painful sunburn.
Exactly. And on the topic of preparation,
Oh, yeah.
the article brings up something that can really throw a wrench in your sightseeing plans.
Okay.
The dress code for sacred spaces.
Right. Covered shoulders and knees.
It's not just about avoiding a disapproving glance. It's about showing respect for these sacred places and the people who worship there.
Yeah, I always feel a little weird going into a church wearing like a tank top and shorts, you know.
It's about being a mindful traveler,
Oh,
acknowledging that you're a guest in someone else's culture and tradition.
yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah.
And speaking of respecting local customs,
Yes.
one of the things that makes Rome so unique is its abundance of free water fountains.
We talked about the historical significance, but they're also a fantastic way to stay hydrated and eco-conscious during your trip.
Yeah, it's like a win-win-win situation.
Totally. You're saving money, reducing plastic waste,
Yeah.
and connecting with the city's ancient water system.
It's a good reminder that, you know, even in a modern city like Rome, there's still these ancient traditions and systems in place.
Exactly. The article even mentions an app called Weighty.
Weighty.
That helps you locate nearby fountains.
So ditch those expensive water bottles
Yeah.
and embrace this quintessential Roman experience.
Exactly.
All right, welcome back to our final Roman adventure.
We've uncovered the secrets to avoiding tourist traps, navigating the city like a pro, and experiencing Rome like a true insider.
But now it's time to unlock that final piece of the puzzle,
Okay.
that key to truly immersing yourself in the magic of the Eternal City.
Ooh, I like that.
Yeah.
The magic.
Yeah.
And that key is surprisingly simple.
Okay.
It's the art of slowing down,
Slowing down. I mean, I get it, but it seems a little counterintuitive.
doesn't it?
Yeah. In a city as vibrant and action-packed as Rome, slowing down seems almost
Impossible.
like the opposite of what you should do.
Right. And yet it's precisely in those moments of stillness,
Okay.
those pauses between the sightseeing and the gelato indulging,
Yeah.
that the true essence of Rome reveals itself.
I'm intrigued. Tell me more.
Okay, so imagine this. You just spent the morning exploring the Colosseum. You've tossed a coin in the Trevi Fountain.
Mm-hmm.
You've wandered through the bustling streets of Trastevere.
Perfect Roman day.
Right. Now it's time to find a quiet corner.
Okay.
Maybe a hidden piazza or a charming cafe.
Yeah.
And simply be E.
I love that. Like giving yourself permission to just absorb everything.
Exactly. It's about shifting from a mindset of doing to a mindset of being.
I like that.
You know, it's about savoring those little moments.
Mm-hmm.
The warmth of the sun on your face,
Mm.
the aroma of freshly baked bread wafting from a nearby bakery,
Oh, yeah.
the sound of laughter echoing through the streets.
It's about experiencing Rome with all your senses, not just rushing from one landmark to the next.
Exactly. And that's where the concept of dolce far niente comes in.
Dolce far niente. Okay, that sounds delightful.
I know, right?
But what does it mean?
It's an Italian phrase that translates to the sweetness of doing nothing. And it's a philosophy that's deeply ingrained in Italian culture.
So it's not about laziness.
Mm-hmm.
It's about embracing those moments of leisure,
Yes.
those pauses that allow us to truly appreciate the beauty around us.
Exactly. And Rome is a city that begs to be savored. It's in those quiet moments,
Yeah.
sipping an espresso at a sidewalk cafe,
Mhm.
watching the world go by,
Yeah.
that you truly connect with the rhythm of the city.
It's like you're stepping off the tourist treadmill and into the flow of Roman life.
Precisely. And that's where the magic happens, those unexpected conversations with locals,
Yeah.
those serendipitous discoveries,
Mm-hmm.
those moments of pure joy and wonder that unfold when you're not rushing to the next item on your itinerary.
Okay, so as we wrap up our deep dive into Rome,
Mm-hmm.
I want to leave our listeners with this challenge.
Okay.
Embrace the dolce far niente.
Yes.
Build in those pauses,
Mm-hmm.
those moments of quiet contemplation,
Yeah.
those opportunities to simply be present in this incredible city.
It's the best way to truly experience Rome.
Absolutely. And remember, the most valuable souvenir you'll bring back from Rome
Hmm.
aren't the trinkets from the tour shops,
Yeah.
but the memories etched in your heart,
Yeah.
the laughter shared over a delicious meal,
Mm.
the awe-inspiring beauty of ancient ruins bathed in golden light.
I love that golden
Like
life.
that feeling of connection to a place and its people.
That's what it's all about.
That, my friends, is the true magic of Rome.
The magic.
Ciao. And thank you for joining us on this deep dive into the heart of the Eternal City.